Bonjour everyone and welcome to this class. Today is the second class of our Yin series and we're going to focus on the upper body today. So first of all, we're going to do a little breathing exercise. You might want to do it lying down with your knees wide, butterfly, reclined butterfly, or you might want to stay with me just seated on a block or on your sit bones. If you are sitting down, crown of the head reaching upwards, maybe giving yourself a few shoulder rolls and then making sure that spine is relatively straight. And then let's focus on that breathing exercise. So what we're going to do is count our inhales for 4, count the exhale for 4, and after a few cycles we're going to introduce holding the breath in between for 1 or 2 counts. So if you want, start closing the eyes. Let's start by taking a big inhale through your nose and a big sigh out. One more time, big inhale and sigh it out. And then start inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 1, 2, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 1, 2, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 1, 2, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Big inhale through the nose and then sigh it out. Slowly blinking the eyes open, keeping a low gaze in front of you. If you are seated down like me, we're going to start making our way down onto the mat. If you are on the mat, just staying there. And our first pose is one of my favorites. The reason for that is because of the name. It's called Bananasana. Hilarious pose to say. And basically we're going to try to recreate the shape of a banana. So to start with, we are going to scoot the hips towards the right side of the mat and the lower body, so both legs go towards the left, upper body goes towards the left. If you want a few ways to make it slightly more intense, you can reach the right foot on top of the left and then just stay there. You might feel it already a little bit more opening on the right side. Second option is to extend both arms. You can keep them as cactus arms or grab the right hand with the left, or right wrist with the left hand, and then extend that hand towards the left side. And then start closing the eyes because there is no reason to keep them open today. Start breathing in through your nose. And just feel that lengthening over to the right side. Breathing in into the right side of the body. And in Yin Yoga, we don't force anything. We just let things happen. We go to what we call our edge, and we just stay here until it's comfortable to go maybe a little bit deeper. But take your time wherever you're going. Do not rush. Do not force anything. This is as much as I can do right now, and I'm gonna stay here until it feels either we going to the next pose or the other side, or maybe after 60 or 90 seconds I'll feel more open on that right side and I'll feel like I can go deeper. Otherwise, I just surrender to time and let this opening happen. Just focusing on what you're feeling. Focusing on that breath coming in and out the nose. And then let's slowly come back to neutral. So to do that, lifting the right foot off of that left, bringing the upper body back to the middle of the mat, readjusting your hips, and just staying here in the corpse pose for a few breaths, just letting everything settle. You can bring one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Letting everything settle, noticing differences of sensations between the right and the left sides. And then let's go over and do the left side. So this time, we're scooching those hips towards the left side. So we're going to lengthen that left side of the body, both feet towards the upper or bottom right corner of the mat, and then both hands either in cactus arms or with the right hand grabbing onto the left wrist. Maybe the left foot comes on top of the right, and we're back in that Bananasana pose. God, it's so much fun to say it, isn't it? So let's be honest, I'm not sure it is the technical and scientific name of the pose, but I just cannot, will not call it anything else. So banana, obviously the fruit, and asana is what we call the poses in yoga in Sanskrit. Hence the name Bananasana. So keep feeling the opening over to the left side this time. And it might be that on this side, on both sides, one of the hip lifts off the floor. Mine on the left side is slightly up. It's okay, it's completely fine. You always have to remember that in Yin Yoga you have one purpose during the pose, and everything else is going to be accessory. So here my goal is to open the entire left side of my body. If I'm feeling that, then if the hip lifts off the floor, then it's fine. Again, remembering that after 60 or 90 seconds, you might want to slightly move to find new openings in the body. Always keeping that in mind. Yin yoga is a very still practice, but movement is not forbidden if it is to find a new and intelligent way of opening your body. And I'm directly paraphrasing and quoting Paul Greeley, who is the master of Yin yoga. Let's hold this for a few more breaths. Let's slowly make our way back to neutral, bringing those hips back to the middle of the mat. Lower body relaxes, upper body, and hands come down alongside your body. Giving yourself a few breaths here, just letting everything settle in the spine, on the side of the body. And then we are going to make our way up. To do that, engage the core, lift both knees, bring them into your chest, give yourself a hug. And then two options, you can either rock up and down the mat or bring those knees towards the right side and slowly make your way up. I'm going to rock up and down my mat just once, make my way up, and then child's pose straight away. If you want, cross-legged your legs, or cross-legging your legs. And now, if you didn't know, I am French. We're gonna bring the knees as wide as the mat, as wide as it feels comfortable. Big toes touching each other, sink your hips onto your heels, and then it's that child's pose that we're gonna keep for a few minutes. So maybe reaching your hands in front of you, maybe bringing them alongside your body, maybe bending the elbows, resting your head, maybe on a block, maybe on the mat, whatever feels comfortable. And then just tapping into that breath. Feeling the lungs and the ribs expand on the inhale, and then getting smaller on the exhale. Softening the face, the shoulders, the arms. Letting the hips sink. I'm not forcing anything, I'm just being where I can be. And you know that similar to a meditation, your mind is always going to wander off, drift away, start thinking about what you're going to eat tonight or tomorrow, or what's going to happen later at work or what did happen earlier today. So always trying to come back to your breath. Couple more breath in that child's pose. Just letting yourself sink, just being soft everywhere, shoulders, face, hips. And then slowly bring those hands under the shoulders, lifting yourself up, coming up onto your knees. And let's bring those knees together. I'm gonna slightly rotate so I am facing you. We are gonna stay onto our knees and just do a couple of arms and neck stretches. So to do that, let's start with the arms, interlacing your hands and fingers together, and then reaching those hands in front of you, and then lifting them up. The only time of the day where I'll tell you, you can reach those shoulders as high as possible, maybe even bringing them close to your ears. And then reach those hands forwards again. This time we're gonna round the spine, really opening the space in between the shoulder blades, letting the neck and head relax and decompress. And keep reaching forwards. And then slowly come up, bring those hands down, relax a little bit, and then extend both arms towards the side. We're gonna do that, what's it called? Cow face, Gomukasana, I believe. To do that, right hand's gonna come through the top and then come in between the shoulder blades, left hand pivots, and then grabs maybe possibly that right hand in between the shoulder blades. If you cannot grab both hands, it's okay. You can use anything, a shirt, a strap, laces, anything that you can grab on both hands, and then try to bring your hands closer to each other. And then release those hands, extend both hands towards the side, and then we're going to do the other side. This time it is the left hand that pivots and then comes through the bottom in between the shoulder blades. Left hand comes through the top, and if you can, grabbing again those fingers. So you might feel it in all different places, in that right shoulder, in the left tricep. And then slowly relax both hands down onto the mat. Give it a shake. And then let's do neck stretches. To do that, right ear to right shoulder, tilting your head towards the right. Readjust your fringe. I'm kidding, don't. It's just me. And then a right hand comes on the left side of the face. Relax that right shoulder. And then we're slowly pulling the head towards the right side. Again, we're not forcing anything here. If you want option to tilt your head towards the right armpit, grab the back of your head. Same thing, we're gently pulling on that head. Pushing, pulling. You got me. We're lengthening the back of that neck, back of that head. Release the right hand, bring it down, slowly lift the head up, other side. Left ear to left shoulder, left hand comes on the right side of the face. Relax the left shoulder and slowly, slowly push onto that head and tilt it towards the left side. That breath is still coming in and out your nose. It's just a big long meditation with a little bit of movement. If you want, tilt your head towards the left armpit, left shoulder. Grab the back of that head and slowly pull it down. Let the left hand come down, slowly lift your head up. One last one of those neck stretches, my favorite. Let's bring those double chins out. So tuck your chin into your chest, lengthening the back of the head. If you want, option to interlace those fingers, the back of the head, and then slowly use the weight of your hands and arms to bring the head down. You can keep the spine straight, you can round if that feels better, feels more intense, whatever works for you. Bring your hands down, slowly lift the head up. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Toes untucked. Let's do a thread the needle on both sides. Just a quick one to move a little bit the spine around. So inhale, right hand comes up, opening that right side of the body, and then exhale, thread it under the left hand, right side of the face onto the mat. You can use that left hand to push a little bit more and open that upper body, wrapping that left shoulder back. And then using the left hand, push back up, back to your tabletop position. Other side. Inhaling, left hand comes up, and then exhaling, threading it under the right hand. And again, if you want, pushing, using those right fingertips or right hand to open and wrap that right shoulder back. And then let's slowly make our way up, back into a tabletop position. Next up, it's going to be that one arm shoulder opener. So to do that, my favorite magic trick, we're going to extend the right leg back, extend the left leg back, and boom, you're in a high push-up, on a high plank, top of a push-up. We're going to make our way down slowly because there's always a little bit of yang and the yin. Upper body or the entire body comes down onto the mat. Extend that right arm over to the right side, and we're going to pivot onto that right shoulder. So to do that, push onto the left hand, bend the left leg, bring that left foot back, And then just let that opening happen into the right shoulder. Hence the name one arm shoulder opener. You can use a block to rest your head if that feels good. And then remembering that the angle of this arm is going to dictate how intense that opening is. If you're feeling any pins and needles, just letting it go. So slowly backing off. It might be that you're too deep in the pose. And because this one's intense, we're not going to stay as long. And take your time to make your way back. Just extend both arms alongside your body, left or right side of the face onto the mat. Just relax for a few breaths. And then let's do the other side, left side this time. So extending that left arm towards the left side and then pushing onto that right hand to come onto that left shoulder. If you want, again, pivoting that right foot and bring behind the left leg. But if you want, you could also stay here and just push with that right arm. I personally prefer it like this, but it's your call. Again, no need to use a block. You can just rest your head onto the mat if that feels better. I actually like that block. Not forcing anything again. But being soft in the rest of the body. No need to hold tension anywhere else. Slowly taking your time to come back, lying down on your belly. Move that block away. And then hands are going to come under the shoulders and we're going to do that inverted magic trick. So this time we're going to lift up in a push-up, in a high plank, and then bring both knees onto the mat. The two next poses are going to be the most intense one. It's first going to be melting heart pose and then snail pose. Melting heart pose, it's also called puppy pose. To do that, we're going to keep the knees under the hips. Just readjusting my shirt. Knees under the hips, and the only thing that's going to move now, it's going to be your arms. Reaching your arms as far forward as possible. Introducing that back bend, that shoulder opener too. You can rest your forehead onto the mat or your chin, if that feels better. And then keeping those hips high up in the air. And then unfortunately for me, it's really hard to speak in that pose. but we are staying here a couple of minutes. And everything we're aiming to do is introducing that back bend, shoulders open, and just bring that spine in a different way that it usually is. Similar to the beginning of the class, focusing on that breath, maybe even counting those inhales and exhales. Coming into that meditative state. Surrendering to time. Letting the stress happen in those connective tissues. And what that is going to bring is increase what we call the production of hyaluronic acid, which is kind of the body moisturizer, but moisturizing from the inside. And so stressing those connective tissues like joints, ligaments, tendons, fascia, that's going to increase the production and the numbers of those hyaluronic acid molecules. So really we're moisturizing the body from the inside, and that's why yin feels so good afterwards. That's a great counter pose if you are seated at a desk all day, or if you tend to have bad posture. This is going to do wonders to it. It might be tough. Yin yoga doesn't seem or isn't as easy as it seems. I find it is one of the hardest practices, but so beneficial, so good for your body. It's that self-care that we all need. Couple more breath here. And then let's start to slowly make your way up back into that tabletop position. Maybe moving around a little bit. You might want to do a few cat-cows. So inhaling, arching your back, looking up, pushing ground away. Exhaling, tailbone in, rounding the spine, letting the neck and head relax. One more time. Oof, that felt good. Next pose is going to be Snail Pose. To do that, we're going to interlace our feet together, roll back onto our glutes, onto our bum. Let's call it what it is. Let's not get fancy with some words. And then snail pose, you are going to try to look like a snail. Yes, I know. I know you all look much better than snails, but we are going to go into that snail pose. To do that, slowly making your way down. And then our goal is going to be to lift those legs. Yes, lifting those legs, and then bring them backwards and behind your neck, behind your head. And then your knees might come close to your ears, might even come onto the mat. And then if your feet touches the mat, you can release the hands. Just feel that lengthening in the neck, that rounding of the spine. And then we just relax into that pose. Again, we don't force anything. I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird, but it is not easy to speak in that pose. I might even get out of it just so I can keep talking to you. But please stay in that snail pose for a couple more minutes while I tell you a little story about actually someone that I mentioned earlier in the class, Paul Greeley. And Paul Greeley, his favorite pose is snail pose. He's also pretty much the person that brought yin yoga to the masses. And so Paul Greeley absolutely loves snail pose, and so much that he does it every single day, maybe 10, 15, sometimes 20 or 25 minutes a day. Until the day where he started feeling some pain in his spine. Turns out that after doing so much of that pose, he actually, I believe, displaced a vertebrae or something like this. My point here is to show you not that snail pose is the bad pose, but too much good thing of something, or too much of something that is good, can be bad. So always listening to your body, never forcing anything, and not overdoing it. A little bit like movement repetition, vinyasa yoga, a little bit like working out, a little bit like your favorite ways of sweating. Yin, if you do it too much, might not be ideal. You need, like everything, you need a little bit of balance in your life. So yin is a great complement for self-care, for after working out, for after those long and sweaty yoga sessions. But it needs to be balanced. And so, to finish that story, Paul Greeley actually stopped doing yin pose as much and is back to a normal schedule, and his vertebrae are fine. Start to make your way out of that snail pose the way you came in. And then just lying down onto the mat, corpse pose. Just letting everything settle after that very, very, very intense pose. Just feeling everything that you're feeling in the neck, in the spine, maybe in the shoulders. And then let's finish this upper body yin sequence with a supine twist and or cat holding its tail pose. Right knee into your chest, send that right knee away. Over to the left side. If you want, you can stay here. We're staying here maybe a minute or two. If you want the cat holding its tail variation, bending that left leg, grabbing it with the right hand, bringing that right shoulder down, wrapping it back. An option to even extend that left leg straight further away than me. Reason is I have a wall in front of me. But really keeping on twisting, wrapping that right shoulder back. Additional quad stretch on the left side. You might feel this one in all the different places. Might be some a little bit in your hip and or in your glutes on that right side, quad on the left leg, shoulders and ribs on the right side. It's a good one. And after Bananasana, it's one of my favorite pose names. Cat holding its tail. I mean, you can invent that stuff. Slowly release that left foot and then bring that right knee back up and extend that right leg. Resettling back, readjusting everything. And then other side, left knee into your chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then send the left knee away over to the right side. I like to bring the right hand on top of that left knee to help me go deeper in that pose. And if you've done it on one side, maybe do it on the other too. And grabbing that right foot, opening the left side of the body, maybe extending that left leg in front of you. And then wrapping that left shoulder back. Some of you might even be able to grab the left foot with the right hand. Left foot, right hand, yeah. For me, it will be next decade. But that's fine. This is intense. This feels amazing already. And be grateful for your body, for what it's letting you do right now. For what it's done for the past 40-something minutes. In yin, some of these poses are really easy and quite soft, and you could really stay there for a while. And some of them are just next level. It's a different type of pain. It's a good pain, yes, but oh goddamn. Melting heart pose or snail pose for a few minutes. Once you've done that, you can do anything else. Anything life throws at you, you're good. Slowly release the right foot, coming back to that neutral, just lying down, corpse pose. And now it's a few minutes of Shavasana, just extending those legs, maybe bringing a cover on top of you or putting a hoodie on, whatever's going to help you feel comfortable for those next minutes. Pelvis tucked in, spine onto the mat, shoulders relaxed. Shavasana. I'm going to slowly wrap this class up. If you want to stay a little longer in Shavasana, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here and attending this class with me. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. Congrats.